Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. I have a very cool video for you guys today. It's another Demytha comp, but this one is a world record breaking run for unkillable teams. Now, obviously, if you're gonna do a non-unkillable team, the record's like 700 million or something now. But for an unkillable team, this one's gonna crack that. It's gonna break it, and it is pretty insane and pretty good. Now, the gear requirements are super high. The build that you will see here is super whale, but it's a world record breaking build, so of course it is. I mean, to be fair, I can't build it. I don't have all these champions, but it is super, super cool, and I just love having Demytha out here now. 3-turn block damage gives us so many variations on ways to build unkillable teams. I'm so loving running my my Myth Fu team. It's very enjoyable, but hopefully this can inspire you guys to kind of come up with something on your own or try something a little bit different and a little bit new. This is a pretty cool one. Now, obviously people are going to ask, can I substitute some of these champions? It's going to be very difficult to. The DPS, you're welcome to change. I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of this video. But as far as the, specific champions, the rest of the champions, you're going to want to keep with them. They do specific things that are really important in making this comp work. It's a masterpiece in synergy, I would say. Now, 2 things really quick before we get into it. I guess 3 things, really. First thing, if you guys haven't, please sub. Love that. It's definitely a great way to support the website. The second thing I want to point out is this video is going to be, it's a pretty quick setup, but the run's going to be a little bit longer. It is kind of a long run, and I want to show as much of it as possible. Not the whole thing, obviously. That's going to be a lot, but I think it's always cool to see a full record-breaking run in, as much of its entirety as possible. I'm going to be playing some music in the background. It's from a buddy of mine, actually, Ela, and he's part of this group called Earth Tones, and they just play really cool old school hip hop music. I don't usually kind of put that back here, but I felt like this would be a great opportunity to do that. So if you guys are interested in their music, I will have a link to so you can kind of learn up on them or get their music and stuff down below. Actually, in one of their music videos that's upcoming. I'm really excited about that. So that should be fun. So anyway, I wanted to give them a quick plug and shout out here. Obviously, I have to shout out Facemelter. I have to shout out Optilink, who came up with this comp and build, and Pavo up here for building it and just making an insane team. So want to give them their love as well. I will, at the end of this, show the world record-breaking run. This is going to be against Force Affinity. It is probably the worst affinity possible. So just keep that in mind as you see the crazy damage we do. But yeah, let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the run. Then I'm going to show you the build, and then we'll show you the record-breaking score at the very, very end. Demytha comps are going to be doing crazy damage. Like Myth Air teams are already super easy, good 1 keys, but this should be interesting. So we're auto on turn 0. So let's go ahead and let that go. We get that decreased defense and weaken. Cardiel does his thing. I guess that's actually his, he gets that attack when other allies attack is kind of what's going on. But you can see pretty much turn 1, we're just trying to get through the turn. That's all we're trying to do here in turn 0, I should say. All right, now we're at turn 1. So Demytha, we're gonna A2 and extend all those buffs. Boom, boom. Cardiel, we're going to A3, get that increased crit rate and crit damage. Boom. And then Seeker, we're gonna go A2, get the speed up, get the increased attack. A1 right there. And from this point on, Lydia, we're gonna A3. All right, and from this point on, we can go ahead and click auto. Let's look at Turbolt. He's got 6 buffs on. His skills do more damage the more buffs he has on him. So let's go ahead and watch him do his thing right here. Boom, 189, 182,000 on that A1 skill. Almost 400,000, about 360, 370 damage on that one skill, which is crazy. And we're just getting started. Look at how many buffs are on him now, though. He has a full bar of buffs. He does 1 million damage, guys. He just did 1 million damage. Oh, that's insane. Yeah, that's insane. Now, obviously, Seeker's weak hits, that is the negative with this team, right? Seeker is going to have some weak hits, definitely a problem, but just part of the game there is how it is sometimes. Man, that was insane how many buffs he has. Look at how many buffs there are on him. Ooh, we get to see another 1 million damage. This is going to be great. Boom. Boom. 400,000 plus each hit. That is very hard hitting. A3 skill, and we get that ally attack from Cardiel as well. So we're just getting lots and lots of damage. You can see we're well over 2 million damage a turn already, and it's only turn 3. Usually the damage ramps up over time as so some of the abilities start to kick in, some of the passives and masteries. Yeah, we're already doing insane amounts of damage. My understanding is this team has actually hit 1 key status by turn 17, turn 19, 19 turns. That's I think that might be the fastest 1 key that we've seen. Although, you know, to be fair, these turns, you know, we get a lot of attacks, so they're not exactly the fastest turns in the world. But that is incredibly quick, and this team is just doing stupid amounts of damage. We're getting close to 3 million damage per turn. Those are numbers those are insane numbers. Usually to do this kind of damage, and I'm talking like well over 100 million damage, you're having to last well over 50 turns. To get that much damage in this amount of turns, you're doing so much damage per turn. It's just insane. So this is pretty impressive. Wow guys. Like I said, my first time watching it is very cool to see. Turvold is just such an insane champion. Cardiel is such an insane champion, and you can see we get the cleanse right there off the stun. Doesn't matter that it hits Seeker there, and we are getting a few little poisons from Lydia. Everybody else is doing their thing, and just stupid hits from Turvold there. Over 400,000 a hit, 800,000 on a turn. Just doing that is insane. Now Turvold's going on a 2-1 ratio. Cardiel is going on a 3-1 ratio. This is why we've prioritized that cleanse ability, so that at the top of every turn, that is cooled down. Because the cleanse ability, the A2 is on a 3-turn cooldown. The A3 ability, with the increased crit rate, increased crit damage, and that one is on a 4-turn cooldown. So we have to prioritize the A2 ability, and then that will always happen every time. We'll always cleanse every single time through. Geez, this is just really strong here. Just a really nice skill and ability. Now, one thing you might think is because Cardiel gets all those counterattacks, would it be good to put Toxic on Cardiel? No. Too many attacks? There'd be too many poisons, so probably wouldn't advise that. This is why it's on Seeker here, so we don't overfill the debuff bar. Because the most important thing is getting that decreased defense and weaken from Lydia up. That's going to be huge for us, so Turvold can do smacks like that. Oh, 950,000 damage. Look at that, guys. We have 24 million damage, and it is only turn 8. That is wild to me. Easily 3 million damage per turn. That should give you an idea of where this comp can get to. And like I said, this will not be the record-breaking run. But I will show a pic of that at the end. So let's jump ahead towards, I don't know, maybe halfway through this. This is too fun to watch. I don't want to lose too much. But we'll jump away halfway through this and watch the end of this. And then we'll come back and I'll show you that picture of the world record-breaking version. Just thought I should point out, it's turn count 11. We've already hit a 2-key damage number, over 35 million. Just gonna point that one out there for you guys. And there we go, guys. 1 key damage right there. Turn 22. 13 minutes into this run. 13 minutes for 1 key. I think that might be the fastest 1 key. It's certainly close to that. It's insane numbers. Something to think about.
Walk with me, come on. Some in the air is magical, magnetic pull, make you feel like you had to move. Talking about tap from the soul, your mask remove all the while mad and controlling, masterful, slick. It's all spell on rainy days, we get rated great on a scale of lame to good. We tailor made to push it. That envelope bully shit is far bullshit. We cut it short and let it lay back, don't mull it over. Let your instinct see the instantly. You could be the bell of your insta feet while we rock the bells. Yes, the silk MC will exceed anyone. You insist bring heat. Now check it. The party rocking from wall to wall before the ceiling. Your inhibitions are interfering. Ignore the feelings. We more than willing to score the night of your life. Let the rhythm get you right in the mind now. And I see you get hands on the now. Wave them like there ain't a thing that you care about. Done with the good vibes, it's a good time. We be putting that work everywhere out. Talk about the sweaty bodies on ask you how you feel, tell them never better. This the night that we took it to another level. We do it sushi raw, funkier than dookie draw. We still fly, that's a movie star. The colors wrap you like Gucci cloth. That's our je ne sais quoi. In hip hop, we call it Fuji love. It's the way we rock, like ways we guide you on a wave. You can wave goodbye to all that weight. That stifle show is free. You stay to be a follow suit. Shake it like some Ottawa juice. Hands high like they follow Colorado roots. This is Rap City. If my queen holla Scotta mooch, we gon' fandango. Press tighter than a bodysuit with the kind of moves only seen from a Kama Sutra connoisseur. Wait, can we break it down to the break of dawn? Far as I can tell, the painted canvas to be painted on. All my people here make it known. And I see you on the 1 or 2, take it home, get busy on them. Hands in the air now, wave them like there ain't a thing that you care about. Done with the good vibes, it's a good time. We be putting in work, yeah, we wear it out. Talk about the sweaty bodies all pressed up, but you still don't look fly, you're dressed up. When they ask you how you feel, tell them never better. This the night that we...
When you hear the rhythm, start to move.
Okay, hands in the air now, wave them like there ain't a thing that you care about. Done with the good vibes, it's a good time. We be putting in work, yeah, we wear it out. Talk about the sweaty bodies all pressed up, but you still look fly, you're dressed up. When they ask you how you feel, tell them never better. This the night that we took it to another level. Get busy.
And there you go, guys. 70.75 million, 170.75 million. We did one key twice is what we did there. That's an insane amount of damage. I mean, just an insane amount, super high. It's really hard to, I mean, that's just impressive. I don't know what to say. Look at that. Cardiel's got 30 million. Demytha put up 15. Demytha only has one attack. Seeker 22.5, Lydia 22.5. Turvold put up 81 million by himself. Turvold did a 1 key by himself. This is a stupid team. It's very, very high end team. But boy, is it good. Oh, yeah, that's lovely. That's great to see. Okay, guys, let's look at the champions and how they are built. Now, like I said, speed requirements are going to be pretty high here. Cardiel's going at about 268 speed. We do have that crit rate and crit damage buff from Cardiel, so most of them are crit capped at about 70% crit rate. It's not actually going to crit cap everybody for the entirety of the fight. We're not going to keep that buff on all the time, but we're going to have it up enough where this is the smart build here. Now, a lot of attack, that speed's pretty high, great crit damage. You're going to see that throughout. The gear on this is insane, guys. We're also going to be bringing in Lydia. Lydia is going to give us our decreased defense, also going to give us that speed buff that we need in order to maintain these speeds. So these 3-1 ratios. So we have Cardiel on 3-1. We have Lydia on a 3-1. She's got 3,000 attack, 303 speed, and still 270 crit damage. Just insane numbers. Plus enough accuracy to land all those debuffs. Always key. The other champion that's going at a 3-1 ratio, might as well bring her out here, is going to be Demytha. So we have 3 champions going at 3-1 ratio, which is crazy, and then 2 others going at a 2-1. So Demytha here, we got 297 speed, that's 70% crit rate, 248 crit damage, and almost 3,000 attack, which is really good for her. She has very low base attack. It's a pretty incredible builds all the way around, I would say. And then we get into the champions that are really our DPS. I mean, Cardiel is going to do a lot of damage for us, a lot of damage, because he gets free counterattacks with his passive ability. But we're also going to get Seeker in here. Seeker is in Toxic Gear. That is going to be helpful. 4,600 attack is a lot for him. 213 speed, 70% crit rate, and 243 crit damage. Obviously, against Red Affinity, he's going to do some weak hits. That is where we're going to actually lose a lot of damage. We'd be much better against Blue or Green Affinity, or even Void for that matter. And then the very last champion we're going to look at is going to be the one, the only Turvold. And this dude slaps. I mean, slaps. Just crazy, crazy damage. He is built insanely well. 6,400 attack. 70% crit rate and 322 crit damage. This guy is disgusting. Just disgusting. And 187 speed on him as well. The big thing with him is this Juggernaut skill, which increases the damage according to the number of buffs on this champion. It's a really, really strong ability. He gives himself a crit rate buff, increased attack, and the increased speed. That's how we get through that extra turn without any worries. Just an insane champion. We have Cardiel as the lead here in order to give us that speed aura so that we can keep the speeds to a reasonable level. If 2 champions at 300 speed is a reasonable level, I mean, I definitely don't want to see unreasonable. But anyway, this is pretty great. The best part about this is we have our 2 DPS champions are relatively slow. So it is a pretty nice, pretty good setup here. As far as the skills setup, we do want to lock in Cardiel's A2, the Angel Song, making sure that he gets that cleanse, because this ability here will cleanse everybody and then place a block debuff on everyone for 2 turns. We're using the cleanse, not the block debuffs part of this. It is another buff for Turvold, which is great. But we're relying on that cleanse ability. He's basically taking the place of Eris in this comp. So we definitely want to make sure that is the prioritized skill. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. His other skill, Heavenly Host, is on a 4-turn cooldown. So we have to make sure we're on a 3-turn ratio with that Angel Song. That's why it's the number 1 prioritized thing. And that's pretty much it as far as getting everything prioritized. You know, everything else is just setting skills up and making sure we get as much damage as possible here. So that's the team. I mean, it's a pretty incredible run. Obviously, the gear requirements for this build are very high. Now, obviously, if you want to take in somebody besides Turvold, you can do that. You don't need Turvold to run this comp. Gentoro even works in this. You can bring in Nax. You can bring in Fane. Pretty much anybody. Draco would be great. You can even run this with Ninja. But in order to run Ninja on this, you're going to have to make you're going to have to make some subtle changes, right? So normally Cardiel is going pretty fast, like 265, 268 speed. Ninja is, or Turvold, I should say, the DPS is going pretty slow at like 187. In order to run Ninja in this comp, you don't have to change his skills, which is really good and really ups his damage. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to swap those speeds. So Ninja then becomes one of the faster champions at about 265 speed, and Cardiel becomes one of the slower champions, the slowest champion at like 187, 185 speed, something like that. So that's going to be the change if you wanted to use Ninja. Now, I have links to both of those builds down below in the pinned comment description of this video. So if you're wondering how it works, that's where you check. And I highly, highly encourage you guys to make any changes to any of these speeds. Make sure to test it in the calculator. That's going to be really crucial to this. The great part is both of these builds work regardless of affinity. But if you're doing that Ninja one where Cardiel's slowest, the difference is Cardiel is going to be using the block debuff to keep us affinity friendly rather than doing the cleanse ability. So it is pretty nice, and it will work on Spirit. All of these, that both of them do. So some nice little options there for you guys. This was awesome. I'm really happy you guys stuck around to watch this. Big shout outs to Facemelter and Optilink for creating this. Big shout outs to Pavo for building this team, because honestly, theory crafting is great, but until you see it, it just doesn't hit as hard. And boy, this one hits hard. Just awesome. Oh, speaking of which, let me show you the world record number. 181 million damage. Just insane numbers. You can see Cardiel did like a couple extra million in this run. Seeker did like 11 extra million. This is the problem with Force Affinity. Seeker's going to weak hit a bunch, and he can do a lot of damage if that's not the case. And then, everybody else is pretty much about the same. Turvold even put up less damage than we did in our run recently. So you can see there are, there's a little bit of RNG depending on the affinity, but boy, this has a lot of potential. I think this is pretty optimized. But honestly, there's probably still a little bit of room for improvement. So if somebody wants to push for 200 million, here's a template of a team that might potentially be able to do that as an unkillable team, because I don't think that's ever been done. So pretty crazy run. Hopefully you guys enjoyed everything today. Hopefully you enjoyed that music from my boys at Earth Tones. Really enjoyed working with them. I was in, like I said, I was in a music video with them. So I'm excited when that comes out. I'll let you guys know, because I think it's pretty cool. And there's links to their stuff down below. So hopefully this was enjoyable for you guys. And yeah, that's all we got today. So till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.